Hey team, we are going to do a super fast review of the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is what you see on the screen. I'm using the Desmos version. There are a couple vocabulary words with the coordinate plane: origin, x-axis, y-axis, and quadrants. So let's talk about those real quick. The origin is located at 0, 0. If you look, it's about to appear on the screen. It's where the x and y-axis meet. The x-axis is the one that goes from left to right, or we also call it the axis that lies horizontally on the screen. The y-axis is the one that goes up and down. We also use the word vertical for the y-axis. The x and the y-axis split the coordinate plane into 4 sections. Those sections are called quadrants. We start in the upper right, and then we make a C. You can think of it like C for correct, and that's how we label the next quadrant. So if I were making a C, this one must be 2 because I would arrive there next. This would be quadrant 3, and then finally this would be quadrant 4. These are Roman numerals, so in math we label the quadrants using Roman numerals. Speaking of the quadrants, the ordered pairs, or there are things called ordered pairs. They are essentially just points. Let me just write that down. Ordered pairs. Those are those XY things. We call them points. You graph them. They will always fall either on an axis or in a quadrant. So for example, something in the first quadrant is going to pop up in red right now. There we go, 4, 1. Second quadrant popped up in blue. Y'all see it? Third quadrant about to pop up in green. Fourth quadrant, I'm putting a point that's popping up in purple. I'm actually going to maybe zoom in on this as well so you can see those points a little bit better. One other thing to point out about the quadrants: every single point that lies in the first quadrant has a positive x and a positive y value. Every point in the second quadrant is negative x but positive y. What about in the third quadrant? What do you think I'm going to write here? If you're not sure, take a look at this. The x is negative and the y is negative. So I'm going to write negative x, negative y. And finally, the fourth quadrant. Let's take a look at the example 4, negative 1. That's a positive x and a negative y. So that's a quick review of the coordinate plane. The last thing I want to talk about is make sure you're looking at the scaling of any graph that you are given. So for example, this particular one, they have the number 5 here, and if I count the number of boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can tell that each box is 1 unit long. So this is actually 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. That is not always the truth, so please make sure you're paying attention to the scaling. I will show you a quick example. Example coming up shortly. Okay. How about we zoom this thing in? Or no, how about we zoom this thing out? Let's do that. Aha, there we go. Okay, so let's say you are asked to graph the point. Let's come up with 6, negative 12. Let's say you have to graph the point 6, negative 12. Before you ever start graphing, you always have to look at the scale. Do not count the boxes. So I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with the scale, meaning how much does each box or each of these tick marks actually represent. The way you do that is you look at the number that's on the axis, so I see a 10, and you divide it by the number of boxes it takes to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. Okay, 10 divided by 5 is 2. That means each of these is 2 units, so we're going to say Let's go above. 2. Then this one must be 4, because 2 plus 2 is 4. 6, 8, and then the 10 is already marked. Down here, pay attention because it's not always the same, but in this case it is. We're also seeing a 10 there, so each of these boxes is 2. But of course, we're going in the negative direction, so I'm going to label them with negative numbers. And the negative 10 is already labeled. Now I think I'm about ready to plot my point. This says graph 6, negative 12. Let's add some directions here. The first coordinate is left and right movement, so this is 6 to the right. The second coordinate is up and down movement. Negative means down, so this is 12 down. Now I'm ready to go. We're going to go 6 units to the right. That's going to take me, I'm going to use purple here. But then we have to go 12 units down. Now if I go 10 units down, I land here. Every box is 2 units, so I actually need to go one more box, and that's going to take me to negative 12. Find the intersection of those two lines. Like, I'll draw some lines for you, see if that helps. Oh, that's not a good one. Yeah, we kind of want to find the intersection of these two green lines as best you can, and that's right there. So what is that? That's 6, comma, negative 12. So scaling is super important. You're probably looking at this and wondering, Ms. Hunt, why didn't you just type it into Desmos? I get it, but informative, sometimes you do have to plot the points yourself. You can't always rely on Desmos, so we need to make sure that we know how to do it. Notice over here, though, to the left, that I did type it into Desmos just to verify that I am correct. And it does look like that red dot showed up where my little black dot is. Let me see if I can erase the black dot so we can see it. Yep, the red dot is there where the intersection of my green lines are, so feeling pretty good about this. All right, that is a review of the coordinate plane. Think to yourself for a second, in which quadrant would you plot the point -8, -3? In which quadrant would you plot the point -8, -3? If you said quadrant 3, you would be correct.